Hey, yo, what's happening, folks? I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe. Most importantly, you gotta pay attention. And that's why they say you gotta pay attention, because it ain't free and it is at a cost. So pay attention, folks. And most importantly, if you do get something out of this, please let me know by clicking that goddamn like button. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand when you watch videos, it's something that most of us don't do, but I would appreciate the feedback. So click that like button, subscribe, do what you gotta do. Most importantly though, I need you to pay attention. So with that being said, I'm bringing you another one. This one is highly beneficial. It's highly beneficial in regards to just us in society and how we socialize and interact with each other, right? But most importantly, what's unfortunate is that most of the people that you deal with in life and throughout your walk in life and in society, they don't have your best interest at heart. Some people will always give you an alternate version of who they really are, especially if they have a different agenda that they're trying to accomplish. So, what I have done is compiled ways and strategies that you can point out when someone is lying. Now, specifically in this lecture, I wanted to use a very, very, very pertinent example. You know, an example that crosses all walks of life, that crosses and transcends all levels of authority. You see, because when we look at someone at a position of authority, we have to assume and imply the reason why they're there is because there's something noble, there's something innovative, leadership role type of thing about them that separates them from us, right? Or from the rest of us. That's why a leader is not a follower, is because the leader possesses certain type of beneficial attributes, right? That not only motivate him, but motivate everyone around them to the point where they vote him in as a leader. They choose him as the leader, naturally, organically. So we cannot forget the fact that when someone is in a position of power and leadership, it's because they are implied to be more put together. They are implied that their forethought is sharper. They are implied that they are more sociable and can deal with people and different circumstances. They can delegate, right? These are attributes of a leader, an authoritative position. So the reason why I wanted to use that, an authoritative person, is because that is the epitome of someone who stands next to the truth. You want to assume the person that you put in the position of leadership, that is making decisions for you, right? That is out there on your behalf. You not even you want to assume, you want to be confident that this person has your best interest at heart. And most importantly, they don't lie just for no goddamn reason. You should be confident in that, which is why they are put in that position. But see, ladies and gents, in today's age, a leader is no longer what it used to be. The definition of a leader is no longer what it used to be. It has been diluted. It has been diluted in the sense of, when I say, man, that chick bad, originally and truthfully, the definition of bad means the opposite of good. But nowadays, if I say that chick bad, that actually means she look good. So that's the best example I can give you how even the word leader, it's not about someone who has integrity. It's not about somebody who stands on a strong moral and ethical foundation. No. Now it's just somebody who systematically gets the position so they can achieve whatever objective or agenda that they have which most of the time is a selfish agenda. When we look at the political body and climate of today's, even all countries, not just the United States, you see that a lot of people that are elected, you wonder how they even got in these positions, because you can see clearly that the masses of people that they usually govern over, only a certain percentage, and sometimes it's a very small percentage, actually is for them. A lot of political leaders that you see nowadays, they're not the people's champ. It's not the majority of people wanting this person there. It's just because a certain group or a certain percentage of people have that much influence that they can get that person there, and that person, like I said, achieve whatever objective that they have set in place. The Electoral College is one of the examples I can give in regards to a small group of people can influence something that masses of people want. But if the Electoral College decides on a president, then the popular vote does not matter anymore. So we understand that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by, I think, by a few million people. So based on the people, generally, they voted for Hillary. But then Trump manipulated the Electoral College, where it's a small, hand-picked group of people who represent a bunch of other people. So then their vote matters as if it's a bunch of people. That not only is that not democracy, but like I said, it's not giving you a leader through the most natural process a leader is born. So with that being said, I put together a list of ways on how you can tell if the president is lying in interviews. And the great thing about this list is that you can use this in your everyday life. So when you deal with people, you understand and you start to see who is for you and who isn't. Who is honest with you and who's not. And people forget how much action, body language, speaks so much louder than any word that you could utter. Your eyes speak so much louder than any word that you can utter. We forget these things because we have people like Donald Trump who just talk circles and talk circles and talk circles. So for you, my viewing audience, like I said, if you want to have any opinion, or if you want to know if someone is for you, pay attention to the techniques that I provide. And I guarantee it'll help you in your everyday life. But most importantly, you will understand where loyalties lie in regards to people who are for you, or who say they are for you. And it doesn't have to be your president. It could be your boss. It could be your boyfriend. It could be your girlfriend, a wife, a husband, your kids, whoever. You can talk to them about something and see if they are being truthful with you. And it's not that you set them up. It's just that you start to gain a level of experience when dealing with people and knowing how to calculate their honesty. So let's get it in. Body language is the first thing. You see, there are typical body movement signs that might signal that a candidate or a person is lying. If a person is fidgeting a lot, they might be lying. This can include tapping or shuffling their feet, playing with their fingers, or shifting their body in their chair. Sudden movements might also be a sign of lying. For example, a person who was calm and relatively still suddenly starts fiddling with their hands. Lip biting is another sign someone might be lying. It might indicate that they are nervous about what they are saying. Also, look for gestures that conflict with what the person is saying. For example, a person confirms that they are the best businessman around. But while the person is saying this, They are moving their feet or even shaking their head. This might tell you that that person is lying. Eye movement. A person's eyes can tell you a lot about their truthfulness. If a person won't look you in the eyes, they might be trying to hide something. And also see how long they look at you. They might look away or frequently shift their gaze away. Looking at the floor or their feet is another sign the person is lying. And also keep in mind, when someone is answering in the form of a lie, usually during the time that they're talking about it or whatever they're saying, not only will they look down when they start talking about the actual lie, but people who train to kind of dodge these techniques, watch them go out of their way to stare you dead in the eye when they're lying, because they're trying to, it's like they're trying to cheat the lie detector test. So the ones who stare too much, and then the ones who don't stare at all, they might be lying. The truth is in between. Changes in voice. Listen to the person's voice as they talk. How they say things is just as important as what they say. Changes in a person's vocal pitch might be a sign they are lying. For example, a person's voice might jump up and get higher or lower if they're lying. When a person lies, they don't like hearing the truth that contradicts their lie. So pay attention when a person abruptly disrupts or cuts you off in mid-sentence when confronting them with the truth. Again, pay attention when a person abruptly disrupts or cuts you off in mid-sentence when confronting them with the truth. See, because sometimes when you're talking to somebody and you bring up the truth, they don't want to hear it, and they don't want anybody else to hear it. So what they'll do is they'll just cut you off in mid-sentence, and then they'll try to bury your truth and what you said with their lie. Talk louder than you, cut you off, because not only do they not want to hear the truth, but they don't want anybody else to even get a whisper of what they don't want you to hear. So watch that with the president, especially with this interview that's coming up. Watch that with him, that when he speaks, when George Stephanopoulos asks him a question, something of truth, and he doesn't like it, he'll just cut him off and just talk over him and just bury it real quick. So, and notice when somebody's telling the truth, you don't have to do that. You don't even have to rush to speak because you're telling the truth. You're in no rush. And most importantly, you're not defensive. When you're telling the truth, you have no reason to be defensive nor offensive. You just take them as they come. Why? It's because you got nothing to worry about. Also, the person's tone might change. Their tone might change. If they are lying, they might get loud, become monotone, whisper, or make another tone adjustment. Sudden pauses and stammering are also possibly lies of deception. A person might be trying to stall for time so they can think through their story. So y'all pay attention when someone pauses for like that brief half second when they hear something that is the truth, and then now they're trying to readjust that truth into a lie in their head. Pay attention to that little pause, and then a quick stammer, right? A quick stammer, like Pay attention to that. Responses. Pay attention to what a person actually says. You have to listen for the details in the person's responses. If there is a lack of details, it might be because that person doesn't have any real information to support what they are saying. Also, watch out for the opposite. If a person overshares, or digresses in conversation, it might be because they are trying to cover up their lack of information. So for example, when you hear the president, when he is confronted with the truth, he's very vague in his response. He just says, nope, it's not true. Nope, that didn't happen. As opposed to giving the truth and giving his account. And genuinely and authentically giving his account. You get vague answers that do not supply or fulfill the inquiry. That is because that is implying that person does not have any information to support what they're saying. They don't have it, which is the truth. Okay? Most importantly, if a person overshares, digresses in conversation, when the president is being asked a question, especially maybe about somebody in regards to something that he did, and instead of answering the question about what he's being accused of, he will digress and start insulting that person and calling them all sorts of names. And notice he'll even do that with George Stephanopoulos. He'll start calling him names when he doesn't like what George is saying that is truthful. So when people do things like that, instead of answering what they're being accused of genuinely, they'll start insulting the accuser or the inquirer, the interviewer. They're trying to kill the messenger because they have the message. If a person pays more attention to the messenger than the message, they're shifting you away from the truth. If a person starts talking about something else that has nothing to do with what they're being asked, when they're being asked about something and then they start saying that they're the smartest person in this, and they just start rambling, it's because they're trying to cover up their lack of information. And lastly, and most importantly, to catch an individual who may be lying is to drill down the details. This involves delving into the details of a project or role that would really show the knowledge a person has for that process. So when the president is asked about obstruction or things of that nature, or would he take information from foreign entities, when you don't see him delving into details, being specific, when you don't hear him saying specifically why he might look at something a different way, or the legalities of something, when he doesn't do that, it's showing you the lack of knowledge he has for the process altogether. So not only does he not know law, but because the lie is so prevalent, he doesn't understand when he's even breaking the law. So to him, receiving information on an opponent from a foreign entity, it's okay to him. You know why? It's because last time it was okay to him. And then on top of that, he doesn't delve into the details. He'll just switch up the subject by going, well, okay, so what if you received information from somebody from Norway? We're not talking about Norway. We're talking about China's. We're talking about Russia's. We're not talking about Norway. Even if we were talking about Norway, that's still a foreign entity. But to trying to paint an issue to benefit his action is not giving you the idea that he knows what he's talking about. Because if you know what you're talking about, you don't have to paint a different scenario. You can use that same scenario that is being inquired of you and you answer it honestly. It's that simple. People, we have to understand the fact that at the end of the day, when you're not lying, you have nothing to hide. there's a certain level of comfortability that you bask in. There's a certain level of confidence that oozes and exudes out of you when you're telling the truth. It's like a little kid. You know when a little kid lying to you. And then you know when they're telling the truth. It's like when you riding around dirty. You don't want to talk to no police and have your windows down, music blasting. But if you riding, you're riding clean, you got nothing on you, bro, you all good. You got the windows down, no seat belt. There's a certain confidence that we have, anybody has for that matter, when they revel in truth. And unfortunately, the president does not have that confidence. There's a certain level of knowledge to detail that you have when you are telling the truth. And unfortunately, the president does not have that level of knowledge when he answers questions about inquiries of his lies. He does not support or back or counter with details. So that should tell you something. For us to even to be in this place in society really speaks volumes to me. That I even have to make this video about the president of the United States in regards to how much he lies and talks backwards. It blows my mind every day. It blows my mind every day that we have come to this place where a grown man asks his shoe size on TV, and that grown man is the president, the commander-in-chief of the United States. It blows my mind every day. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, mark my words, not only will time tell my story better than I ever could, not only that, but anybody, please mark my words when I say this, whether you support Trump or have agreed with him, voted for him, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you will feel like shit when you see the damage he has caused. You will feel like shit when you see the damage he has caused. I can't wait till I see what the history books say about this man 20 years from now. I really, really feel bad for anybody who's related to him, because the embarrassment is gonna be, it's gonna stick around for a long time. I guarantee you a lot of people who even related to him are gonna mess around and change their last name just because of how bad it's gonna get. I almost guarantee that a lot of people who are related to him and have Trump as a last name, if they haven't already changed their last name, I guarantee you they will in the next 10, 15, 20 years, because of how embarrassing this is going to be for that family. Most importantly, how embarrassing it's going to be for the country. The position of power and respect that America has lost while this man has been in presidency is astounding. How much people now do not respect. It's overwhelming how much other countries, it's like if they didn't like America, imagine how much they don't like America now. And then the ones who thought America was cool, you can only imagine. And the reason why I know is because I know international. A lot of y'all ain't even left the country. And that's a sad thing too, is that a lot of Americans, they don't even travel as much to know what people say about them. They don't. A lot of Americans don't know what people think about them because they don't go out of their bubble. Some do, but not enough. And it's always good to know what impression you're leaving in the environment you're in. And if you are oblivious to that, the level of self-awareness doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You're almost like a child. You don't know what anybody thinks about you because you don't pay attention to that. That's exactly how America is as collectively. The masses, they don't know what people think about them because they don't travel or associate with other people and other cultures and other countries. Like I said, only some do. There is a percentage that do, but not much. And they'll tell you. At the end of the day, folks, equip yourself with these social techniques, like I said, so you can spot a real one and you can definitely spot the fake. I thank you for your time. Peace.